Unmute. Good morning, everyone. Sanbonani, Dimacheroni, Dumelang, Absheni, Molweni, Lochani, Tobela, and Goeiemorgen. It is such a pleasure to welcome you to this incredible webinar brought to you by Proudly South African. We are going to have incredible conversations around the beauty industry, and we have some incredible speakers as well that we have roped in to come and tell us their incredible stories, their own personal stories and their own personal journey as well. And as you all know, this is brought to you by Proudly South African. Just a brief background, it's an institution that was established in 2001, born out of the 1998 Presidential Job Summit, which was convened by the late former President Dada Nelson Mandela. Now, the country's official Buy Local advocacy campaign is aligned with the government's objectives of combating the triple challenges of poverty, inequality, and above all, unemployment. And Proudly South African is a membership-based organization, and only companies that have been audited and approved are entitled to carry the logo. So when you see a company or a brand that has a Proudly South African logo, you need to know that that is validation that their product or service meets local content thresholds, as well as all the required quality standards. And Proudly South African works with the public and the private sector to promote increased levels of local procurement through supply chain structures, and with consumers as well, to change habits of everyday store and online purchases. And that their clarion is buy local to create jobs. And of course, you can learn more on the incredible work that they do on proudlysa.co.za. Now, before I get into today's topic and the business of this morning's webinar, just a quick introduction of myself. I am Gyabeti Mutlokwabapela, and I am proudly South African. I am an award-winning broadcaster, a polyglot, an international voiceover artist, and overall just a creative genius. And today, most importantly, I am your host and your facilitator as we look at the incredible and forever changing beauty industry in South Africa. And I am certain I speak not only for myself when I say what an incredible way to start a brand new week with this informative webinar as we tackle driving sustainability and ethics in South Africa's beauty industry. We are going to delve into a lot of topics. We're going to delve into the critical role of sustainability and ethical practices as well in the ever-changing industry. We are going to highlight both opportunities and challenges as well. And I think, just to get started, it will be important for me to hand over to Proudly South Africa's Chief Marketing Officer, Hepingidi, to just let us in on one of the reasons why we are here this morning. Good morning,
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, fellow panelists, and a warm morning on this gold day to the attendees as well, and to my colleagues online. And Gia, I just feel like you've just done my job. I don't know what to say. I feel like you have a mole in our office. They told you everything. What do I say now?
I don't know everything. I don't know everything yet, but yeah, you can take over. There's a lot more that you can tell us, and I trust you. I've seen you speak countless times, and I know that you've got a lot up your sleeves.
Yeah, you've now given me a challenge. I've got to, freestyle this thing now, to try and not repeat what you've said. But thank you so much for the opportunity. It's great to be here. And so, like you rightfully said, we are an advocacy campaign. I'm going to try and share my screen, and I will jump from one presentation to the next to ensure that it's what I talk to you about today is relevant to the industry and to the generic work that Proudly South African does. And so, I'm going to start with this one. Can you see my screen? Can everybody see my screen? Okay, fantastic. And so I will go straight to the mandate, which you've unpacked quite nicely. And ours is very simple. We exist because the buy local phenomenon is a tried and tested movement around the world. Many countries in the world have got their own buy local movement, and South Africa is no different. We were started by Madiba, like you said, many years ago, when he was dealing with the triple challenges: unemployment, inequality, and unemployment, inequality, and poverty. And regrettably, those challenges are still very much part of our lives, and hence we continue to ensure that we remind South Africans about the importance of buying local and supporting locally manufactured products in South Africa. And for the betterment of our economy, if we don't take care of our own economy, who will? Who will do that? And it's as something as minute as just being conscious every time any of us, whether you're in the public sector or private sector, ultimately we are all consumers. And that when you buy something, you try and find a South African version of what you're looking for. We do have stuff. We are here to have a healthy argument with naysayers who are trying to tell South Africa that localization is not important. Localization is our saving grace. We've got to start at home. And when you make a purchasing decision in favor of a local product, irrespective of what that product or service is, you are essentially creating jobs in South Africa, but most importantly, you are retaining the jobs that we have. We all know unemployment is a constant problem in our country. In fact, what statistics South Africa tells us is not even a true reflection of how dire unemployment is. Those figures don't even factor in people who've given up looking for jobs, and so they're not counted. We all know that the private sector is not going to be able to absorb everybody or every graduate into the ecosystem, and so localization, has to work. Our key objectives is to, like I say, promote sustainable job creation, by improving production and consumption of quality and locally manufactured goods. We also seek to ensure that the quality jobs are created with fair labor standards. And the essence of Proud SA brand is to engender national pride, patriotism, and really a sense of belonging, if you like. And the fundamental purposes: developmental, prosperity, business competitiveness, and buy local activism, because I did allude to the fact that many countries in the world have got their buy local movement. This is absolutely critical for those of you who are on the line and you've seen our logo, on products. You alluded to that earlier on, a program director here. And, many of you will have seen our logo on these products. We've been told in the past, when we started changing this movement, that we are the sticker people. That hurt us a lot, because there's more to us than just a sticker, if you follow the work that we do. And so we are a member-based company, like you said. So those of you who are online and, have wondered, how you become affiliated with Proudly South African, where we can communicate and market your brand as a South African company that employs people in South Africa and that manufactures locally, not one that imports from China or from Turkey or from wherever, and then labels the product as a South African product. And so the first thing we look at is local content. So we're saying at least 50% of the production of what you make has got to be it's going to be done, produced by South Africans. You've got to just, show us that in the course of making that product, you have employed people, or it was made by South Africans, and therefore creating jobs or sustaining jobs. The second thing is high quality product. We're very strict on quality. We vet these companies. It's one thing for us to go out there in the public domain and tell people to buy local because local is lekker. but it's more than just that. South Africans deserve great quality product for their hard-earned money. So we play the police very strictly when it comes to that. The last two, points are softer issues, but they're just as important. And so fair labor practice, the company must comply to labor legislation in the country. The third one is environmental standards. Your company must be environmentally responsible and environmentally friendly. These are some of the membership benefits that I want to quickly run through. So consumer recognition, obviously, when you have the proudly South African logo on your product, it's easy to see, and already that gives your product or a service credibility that the consumer can then, relate to. Access to consumers and access to market. We pride ourselves a lot in creating access to market opportunities, because it's one thing here for anybody sitting in this platform to have a great product. But if they don't have anybody to sell the product to, it defeats the purpose. They will shut down, they will lay off staff, they will retrench, they're not going to make it. So that's the gap that we fill as Proudly South African, where we actively go find access to market opportunities in your specific industry. The use of the Proudly SA logo, we've already touched on that. PR opportunities, if you follow us on our social media platforms, you will see every day without fail, we are promoting a local business. Because we've got, credibility. What we put out there is believed by an audience that we've worked on for the longest time. I always throw in this reality, though at times it's seen as a joke because nobody believes us. We don't have exorbitant marketing budgets at Proudly South African. We are very broke. We just don't look like our problems. But we try to do as much as we can within our constraints and even go beyond the call of duty. Advertising opportunities, exhibition space to exhibit. So if you're a member and you have a beauty product, that is, and also we're looking for a company that's already trading. We don't do startups. We don't have a funding model. That does not fall within our mandate. And so you bring your product in the beauty space and you're looking for access to market. You may be wanting to get into clicks, which is difficult, I must warn. I don't want anyone to walk away from this engagement and say, Proudly South African said they will put my product in clicks. They've got their own policies and their own ways of doing things and, their own strategies and all of that, but at least they've got our ear. When we say, here's a great product, consider, have a look at it. They will, but without us, we can't impose anything. We can only, ask to the business patriotic side. In fact, what comes to mind is a lady who works incredibly hard, who is also a member of the Proudly South African campaign, who owns a beauty product called Portia M. Many of you will know her, and she is at Clicks. There's many others, but Portia M just came to mind. And so I'm going to stop sharing. I just want to show you some of the activities that we do so that you can, relate to some of the things that we do for our members. And so there we go. I'm hoping that video is not going to play. I was just trying to go to the slide. So what you see on screen, as much as we do the beauty, industry, we do the agro-processing industry, and we have our own local wine expo that we pay for, and we take all our members to that are in the wine space to that show at no cost to them. And so for your industry or this industry, in the context of what we're talking about today, beauty, hair care, skin care, what we do, we don't have our own event that we organize for the industry. However, we then look out for those expos and trade fairs that are out there, and we book what we call a pavilion, a Proudly SA pavilion, where we take some of our members to that platform at no cost to them. We will build a stand for you. We'll book the space firstly, which is money. We'll build a stand for you, which is money. and will market the fact that your product will be at Gallagher Estate on this day, or whatever the case may be. All we want from these products is them to show up, is for them to show up and be ready to sell a credible brand to the market that we provide for them as proudly South African. We do fashion, you know, the clothing, textile, footwear, leather sector. We do that. We do automotive cars that are made or assembled locally. We do sugar. We work in the sugar industry. We work in the poultry industry. Many sectors, designated sectors that are, you know, connected to the master plan, if you like. But I think the point I wanted to highlight is why we exist, what we do, what our mandate is, and just also to, I mean, we get a lot of requests where people are wanting to ask to pay for the music festivals and for the whatever it is, but we are constrained within and we have limits informed by our mandate, which is local manufacturing and supporting locally manufactured products and supporting local services, and nothing outside of that, because then there's in our industries or in the market, there's what we call mandate creeping. So if we go do a festival, you know, it's an arts and culture mandate, which we can't interfere in, those kind of. So it's at times when we say, no, we can't help, is because we have to focus. We have to focus on what we are mandated to do. We can't possibly do everything. That's what I wanted to highlight, but also to say that your business, if you're sitting in this platform, it has to be a registered business by CIPC. You've got to be paying your taxes, so you have to be VAT registered. You have to comply, because other businesses, they will, you know, be not so happy, you know, and think we don't want to help. But if you don't pay tax and you are not VAT compliant, we will never work with you, because we are also governed by triple PFMA policies, because we get some of our funding from Treasury and from government. And so we have to comply as well. So at times when you reject a proposal and we say, but you are not VAT registered, or you're not CIPC registered, and then there could be a bit of a misunderstanding. I want to leave it here, Kia, and because I think I still left about 7 minutes from my presentation to take questions that I could quickly, and I know that your program says questions at the end, but I'm not going to be able to stay on due to another commitment that I couldn't get out of. If you allow me, Chair Lady. Thank you so much.
Happy, Ndidi. Thank you so much for such a beautiful presentation. You know, I'm personally myself hurt as well, that at some point people thought Proudly South African is just a sticker. Do they understand the impact that this brand has had and the amount of work that you do? So thank you so much for also sharing that with us. I'd like to encourage everyone who have any questions to just drop them in the chat box, so that we can be able to just have a quick Q&A session with Happy Ndidi before she can leave the webinar. So if you have any questions, please just drop them onto the chat box so that we can attend to them as soon as we possibly can, and we can move on to our next speakers. We've got some incredible speakers that are lined up, and we have quite limited time because we are only here until 12. So if you have any questions, please do drop them on the chat box. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about, you know, listening to this presentation is the fact that, you know, Happy went on to highlight some of the membership benefits that you get as a member of Proudly South African. I mean, we are talking advertising opportunities. We are talking inter-member trade. We are talking access to, you know, consumer research. We're talking brand visibility and access to consumers as well, amongst others, such as consumer engagement opportunities, opportunities. We are looking at PR opportunities as well. And I think if you are a business owner, you know and understand, you know, the cost of PR in this country, and you know how much you might need to put aside for that. But as a member of Proudly South African, you've got access to those benefits, such as the use of the logo, you know, on your products, to give that extra credibility to the product that you've worked so hard to build. We're looking at access to consumers as well, and consumer recognition, as well as, you know, activations as well, and exhibition spaces where you can take your product to actually exhibit it and make sure that more people have got access to it and more people know about it. So thank you so much for that, Happy. And also just to highlight, in one of the things that she said, that at least 50% of your product should really be produced locally, or should really be handled locally, in order for you to actually, you know, to actually have a chance of being part of Proudly South African. So I'd like to also thank you, Happy, once again. I don't see most questions coming in, but as they do come through, we will definitely make sure that we bring them forward. Now, this insightful webinar, as I mentioned earlier, will delve into the critical role of sustainability and ethical practices in South Africa's ever-changing and ever-evolving beauty industry. And we will be highlighting both opportunities and challenges, while also seeking to educate industry professionals, aspiring entrepreneurs, and consumers on the transformative power of embracing sustainable, locally driven approaches. And just in case you're wondering or asking yourself, you know, what perhaps one of the objectives are for this webinar, I don't want you to worry about that. You know, I'm here to make sure that you don't miss a single beat. And in the next 2 hours, we are going to spotlight the vital role of local sourcing, ethical practices, and sustainability in driving economic growth, and of course, shaping a more responsible and inclusive beauty industry. And as I mentioned, we have got an incredible lineup of speakers who have dominated and boldly taken on the beauty industry with so much passion, and the results are worth writing home about. They are going to talk to us about a number of topics, and while they share their knowledge and their tips, as well as incredible stories, I'd like for us to also you know, encourage each other to share our takings far and wide on social media. We are using the hashtag #BuyLocal to create jobs, and don't forget to tag Proudly South African on X, which is formerly known as Twitter. I know it's very hard, you know, for some of us to accept the changes, but it is now called X. They are at Proudly SA. On Instagram is proudly.sa, and on Facebook is Proudly South African. There is a quote that I love so much that says, "Sharing knowledge is sharing wealth," which highlights the value of information as a valuable asset. So as we sponge off as much as we can in this webinar, let's also ensure that we spread the wealth into others, so we can grow together as a nation. Now, Happy, thank you so much. If we do have any questions that are coming through, we'll definitely bring them your way. But for now, I think, you know, let's move on to one of our speakers this morning. I am very thrilled to actually be in the room to hear this story, because Gillian Nyakane, the founder and CEO of Gillies Naturals, has done such an incredible job building her business, and I cannot wait to take notes and learn more on how to build a successful, unique business. So she is the founder and CEO of Gillies Naturals and has an MSc in human settlements from KU Leuven in Belgium. She has close to a decade experience in the built environment. She brings professionalism, technical competency, and customer centricity to the management of Gillies Natural, and her passion for natural remedies led her to the science behind natural solutions by studying with various higher institutions in South Africa, such as the University of Pretoria and Gibbs. And she's recently completed studies in, you know, the business of cannabis and phytomedicine and company. Gillies Natural is a proudly South African holistic wellness company that specializes in plant-based personal care products, as well as offer pain-relieving massage services. And, you know, just reading through this bio and reading through what the business does, I would like to say, Gillian, that my curiosity has actually, has spiked up, and I cannot wait to hear more of what you have to say. So, Gillian, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and welcome to this incredible webinar. I will, hand it over to you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much, Kia. And I would like to thank Proudly South African for this opportunity to engage. And then I would like to thank everyone who's in audience. So today I'll be speaking about the role of small and medium enterprises in job creation, especially in the beauty industry. So I'll share my screen, my presentation. Can you please let me know if you can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, you can. So I can
Yes.
start. Okay.
Yes.
So I'll start with a quick, did you know that the World Bank reports that small, micro, medium enterprises represent 90% of businesses and more than 50% of the employment worldwide. I would like that to sink in. Think about it. So it's not L'Oreal, it's not Nivea, it's not Dark and Lovely who are creating more jobs, but it's small businesses. I mean, 90% of businesses, if those are small, micro, and medium-sized businesses, businesses like Chili's Natural. So that means then that small businesses are the key drivers to job creation. Job creation is not only left to the government or private sector or the academia, but it is left to us South Africans to start our own businesses. Yes, there are many risks involved, but I think to drive economic growth and development, businesses are very key in ensuring that we create jobs. So I will take you through the life cycle of job creation in the beauty industry. The first one is research and development, R&D, very important. And in R&D, we're looking at innovation, ingredients, packaging, new techniques or methods of applying product or new ingredients that can be used. So you've got formulators, scientists, and farmers who would cultivate a certain plant so that to extract optimal benefits from it. So in research and development, there's job creation, and then we've got agriculture and agro processing. So especially for businesses like mine, which focuses a lot on plant-based raw ingredients. So we've got farmers who are cultivating herbs, plants, etc. And within the farm, you've got pickers, people who are harvesting, sorting out, and we've got even machinery, like the tractors, even cold rooms to keep the plant in a cool environment. So there's a lot of value chain of job creation there within agriculture and agro processing. And then we move off to manufacturing. And in manufacturing, for me, I split it into two. We have manufacturing of equipment that we use in production of a beauty product. That would be like a stirrer, a homogenizer, etc. So there's a job creation there in making those equipment to manufacture. And then you have the actual manufacturing, the actual production of the product, and we are using those equipment and machines that were supplied. And then you've got labor that's making the products, and then you've got raw ingredients there. So you also have packers, people who are packing, people who are mixing. Jobs are created there. And then we move off to product packaging. So product packaging plays an extremely important role in beauty product because it's the look and feel of a product. So in a way, that's how the consumer first identifies with the brand or the product because of how it looks. So it could be in glass, it could be in bamboo, it could be in plastic. So there's also a job creation there in the manufacturers of those packaging. And then we've got creatives. Maybe I should have labeled it marketing. People like Kia, she said she's a voiceover artist. When we doing video shoots, and when we're creating videos, we'd have people like Kia with their beautiful voices. And then we've got graphic designers, we've got printers, we've got even salespersons, marketers. They play a very important role in bringing the product to the customers, visibility of the brand. So there's a huge space of creating jobs for people in the creatives or the marketing space. And then we've got distributors. These are people who are in charge of ensuring that the product now is ready. It was formulated, designed, manufactured, and it's now ready for the consumer. So the distributors moves it from the manufacturer to the wholesaler or to the consumer. So there's a lot of job creation there because we've got logistics, we have warehousing, people who are taking care of the product in transit. And then we move off to wholesaling and retailers. So wholesaling it can also become the face of the product because that's where consumers interface with the product. It's available at clicks. So then the product is associated with clicks. So even the packer at Clicks, interacts with the product. Clicks is a retailer. They sell our products, so they create jobs as well. So it's indirect. It's an indirect job creation. However, it's in the value chain of the beauty product to reach the consumer. And then on the last slide, actually. So these are the numbers that I looked at for my business. Don't come with guns at me. You're not gonna find them on the internet because they are mine. And I did the numbers just to give a picture of of job creation that we do as a small business. And I only looked at one product that I sort of like have control of the value chain. The others, things like olive oil, I have no idea where it's farmed. I buy it from a local supplier, but I don't have the details of it. However, with the CBD infused product, I've been to the cannabis farm. I've seen the workers, so I've interacted. So I know where it's coming from. The farm is in Pretoria. So if we look, this is Julius Natural, and the jobs are indirect and direct. So if we look at the R&D, which is the research and development, we've got two jobs created. If we look at agro processing, this is the cannabis farm that I'm talking about. Here we've got people who are planting, harvesting, picking, sorting, and packaging. So, and this is also an indirect job creation because I did not hire the pickers, etc., but they're part of the value chain of me creating a product. And then we have manufacturing. Manufacturing, we have 3 people. These are direct job creation, and it's just for one product. And this is more of an order-based analysis or demand for the order. And then we have packaging. Packaging, it's also indirect here because there are 5 suppliers that I use here in Gauteng, Joburg. So different suppliers. And I've included printing as well, because we print on the packaging, on the glass. So we've got 5, and then creatives, I've got 5 as well. I've got, and these are direct jobs created, because I've got a graphic designer, I've got social media manager for it, I've got printers, and I've got someone in PR. I'm forgetting the other one. And then I've got distributors as well, both indirect and indirect, working with the courier guy. And then retailers, indirect and direct as well. I work with Amazon, South Africa, Take a Lot, Micro Online, Eden Vine. It's in Pretoria in mainland. I've got another shop, Relaxing Ganja shop. They stock our products. And then we have our own physical shop in Naturana, and we also have a e-commerce shop. Thank you. That's it from me.
Thank you so much, Gillian. I read somewhere that you have a beauty parlor as well, and that if I come to your beauty parlor, I mean, the pains and aches are going to be things of the past. Do you mind just maybe telling us a little bit about that?
Yes, and that was inspired by CBD, because CBD is anti-inflammatory, it's soothing. I tell people that CBD, the way it works, it's like if you're angry, upset, you don't behave the way you normally behave. And then CBD is like a hug. It hugs you, it soothes you. So that's what it does to the skin. So when you come for a massage with CBD in it, it soothes the muscles. And as you know that a massage is a double-edged sword. You know, it works on both the mind and the body. So that's how you get your pain relieved.
And Gillian, where do we find you? Just quickly, where do we find you? Where do we find your massage parlor? Where do we find you on social media? So the rest of the people that are on the webinar can take notes and perhaps just give you a follow, and also just check out your products and your beauty parlor as well.
Oh, I would appreciate a follow and buying as well. So our shop is in Naturena, 109 Main Road, Naturena. And then online, our website is www.gilliesnatural.co.za. And then on all socials, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, it's Gillies Natural. And then obviously other platforms like Take a Lot, Macro, and Amazon.
Gilly, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it. You've done an incredible, incredible job with your business, and we are rooting for you. We're rooting for your success. And in case you missed the details, their main store is 109 Main Road, Naturena. Website is www.gilliesnatural.co.za, and on social media across all platforms they are Gillies Natural. She did mention that research does show that 90% of jobs created are done so by SMMEs in this here South Africa. And I think, we must give kudos to you, Gillian, as well as, your business for having created the amount of jobs that you have. If you have any questions for Gillian, please don't forget to drop them on the chat box, and so that we can get to the questions later on in the conversation. And of course, give them a follow on all social media platforms. And yeah, Gillian, thank you so much. You will still be here so that we can tackle a bit of questions later on as well. And here is another thing, very, very interesting. To be in the room with this incredible woman, for me, it's actually quite interesting, because I currently use these products on my skin and they're doing wonders. So our second speaker is Sarah Hetherington. She is a director of Brand Communication at African Extracts Rooibos Skincare. And it was founded by Cape Town entrepreneur Rob Tiffin, alongside Sarah, who is a journalist by training and an award-winning beauty editor at a major magazine before moving into the world of marketing and communications. And she is responsible for coordinating and curating the brand messaging, overseeing all creative work, and as well as packaging, and having an input into brand direction and new product development. She believes that South African consumers, no matter where they live, should have access to the best quality skincare with the latest ingredients. And there's no better way to actually show that you believe that people should have access to your product than the pricing, which, for their products, the pricing ranges from 30 rands to 340 rands. Talk about inclusivity. And the brand's mantra is accessible, effective, and affordable skincare for everyone, inspired by nature and the rich natural blessings of South Africa. And you know what? I am thrilled to introduce to everyone who is in this webinar, Sarah Hetherington, Director of Brand Communications at African Extract Rooibos Skincare. Sarah, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's really so wonderful to listen to entrepreneurs like Jilly and to listen to their inspiring stories, because it's a long, hard road to build a brand in South Africa, and the environment has never been more challenging. There is so much out there, choice for the consumers, and we're living in a global world. So people are exposed to products and trends and the ingredients from all over the world. And we need to really keep up our end to promote local products and local ingredients that are trusted by our people for generations. And in the end, there's nothing that beats a local product.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. So can you perhaps just take us back to the origin of your brand and how it came about?
Yes, I can. And there is a presentation I think Monique has that she can share from her side. So this is just a short run through of our beauty journey that we've started since we started the brand. African Extracts, we're based in Cape Town. That's where our headquarters are. And we have our own manufacturing plant where all our products are made. The business has been going for almost 25 years. It's a family-owned business. My husband, Rob Tiffin, who's an accountant, was in the toiletry gifting business when we came up with an idea for starting a rooibos skincare brand. At the moment, we directly employ 85 people. And as Jilly outlined so clearly, these are across a huge range of job opportunities. From our cosmetic chemists, all our products are formulated and developed in-house, to all our manufacturing, our dispatch, and of course our marketing department. We have a big team in our marketing department of about 15 people, and we do all our own social media, our videos, our television ads, everything we do in-house. So it's really a team effort, because we think that no one knows our brand like we do. It started off as a very small range of 7 products, but now we sell 3 million products a year, which is quite a sizable number, and means that the business has to run really efficiently. Our biggest retailers are Clicks, Dis-Chem, Pick n Pay, the Checkers Group, with some Spar and pharmacies, and they remain our biggest challenge as still a relatively small brand, competing against international giants like Nivea and L'Oreal. These are our products that we now have. We started off with this classic range in full of rooibos, because it's got such natural high levels of antioxidants. It's really good for keeping the skin in the best possible condition that it can be. And we are a great believer in the benefits of rooibos, both on the inside and the out. And what we've done subsequently through the years since we started the business is we've gradually developed more ranges for different skin concerns. And now we believe we have something for everybody, including the men in our lives. And our Rooibos Man range, which was started about 18 months ago, is going great guns. So this, just to give you an idea, is how the brand started out in 2002 on like these little wooden stands, selling our story of local sustainable skincare, and packaged in quite a homely way. And we spent a lot of time out there going into pharmacies and getting these products listed. Because as Rob, our CEO, always says, it's easy to make something, it's very difficult to sell something. So that's really the focus. But I mean, it was a really sweet brand. And we have had some of the products that we launched then are still our best-selling products today, like our essential care day cream. Our classic day cream with an SPF 15 is South Africa's biggest selling essential care moisturizer in South Africa still. This is how the product started evolving in terms of packaging. And if you go further on, you'll see that that basically our brand story was very rooibos focused. And the rooibos industry is in South Africa is one of the first industries that signed an international protocol called the Nagoya Protocol on Indigenous Knowledge. And all the rooibos industry, all the farmers pay a levy towards the first peoples who used rooibos in the Cederberg area for community upliftment and benefit. And there are massive training and employment opportunities being generated in the rooibos industry. So that's where we get our rooibos extract from. We also use other ingredients, buchu, aloe, a whole lot of baobab are key things, which are also sourced in South Africa and help create those indirect jobs that Julie was talking about. As you can see, our brand has evolved in terms of sophistication. We realize that it's not enough to be a proudly South African product, and it's not even enough to be a product that's based on something as unique and special as rooibos. You also have to compete in the marketplace, and you need to deliver the best possible products to the South African consumer. So as you can see, we pay a lot of attention to modernizing our packaging and expanding our product offerings. So from that small little wooden stand with 7 or 8 products, we now have over 50 products. This is interesting because this is our new repackaged and reformulated dry skin range. But you can see here that what we also need to do is we need to work with industry leading ingredients. The consumer is out there informed, reading packages, and they also want their skin to benefit from ingredients like hyaluronic acid and ceramides. So to balance the science and the natural is something that we focused on a lot. We do a lot of research. We try and visit trade shows overseas. We look at other products all the time. And our in-house research team does a fantastic job of keeping us up to date with what's happening in the beauty industry. It's fast changing. So this is our classic range that I was alluding to earlier. This day cream, we sell about 20,000 of these day creams a month. And these three products are the best-selling products in their categories across the nation in big retailers. So we're very proud of them. They speak to our heritage, as a rooibos brand. So sustainability is a huge a topic of conversation, and we have always built our brand on sustainability. We were one of the first brands in South Africa to be endorsed by Beauty Without Cruelty, and have no ingredients that are tested on animals in our products. We also are sustainably sourced, so we have research on all our ingredients, where they come from, where they're made, how they're made. Obviously, made in South Africa, we're very proud of that. We're also vegan. We've moved away from animal-based ingredients, and our range is now entirely plant-based. So I just wanted to talk a bit to any brand owners and aspiring entrepreneurs out there who feel that they have something to contribute to the beauty marketplace and to create jobs and develop their own brand. There are opportunities out there. It's not easy, but you can do it. And one of the things that's been shown internationally is that small owner-driven brands have a bigger chance of succeeding now than ever before, because people are interested in them and in their stories. So my advice would be to find a USP, okay, for your brand, something that is different and makes it stand out. And ours is rooibos and always will be. And then you need to create a story around your brand. And this is much easier to do today with social media channels and access to smartphone technology that's like now almost ubiquitous across the country. So even on a small budget, you don't have to do TV ads and billboards and things, which are really unaffordable, even for bigger brands like ourselves. And then you must try and build a community. So a relatability for your brand story, so that people feel that they know who you are and they know how your product is developed, and that they build a connection with you and your brand. And this can be done through attending local events and things, and online conversations. And there are great examples of how a brand like Porsche M and Schoen and many other South African brands are doing this. They have built their brands through community and online conversation. And then I think take advantage of e-commerce. This is increasingly simple with platforms like Shopify. We use this to sell some of our products in the UK to those expats who really miss home and want their familiar beauty products. But there are lots of online platforms like Faithful to Nature for more sustainable brands, and Take-A-Lot. African extracts, we have taken a decision not to sell on directly to our customers, because we need to be as strong as possible in our retail outlets, because we're constantly in a position of having to defend our shelf space and pay and show that we have the numbers to be on the shelf and not to have our products delisted. Now that's an ongoing challenge. In terms of the challenges, it does take time and hard work. Sustainable brands aren't built in a moment. And there are many flash in the pan ones that arrive with a big bang on social media and then disappear a few years later. Developing brand loyalty is absolutely key. You really need to win your customers and keep them in your family. You need to invest in marketing. African extracts, we spend 10% of our turnover on marketing, which is more than our profit at the end of the day. And consumers have a short attention span. So there are so many products out there competing for their attention. So you really have to be smart about how you stretch each one of your marketing rands. Another challenge for entering the beauty industry is the cost of regulatory and testing. South Africa has developed cosmetic and toiletry packaging requirements that are in line with the strictest ones in the European Union. And what this means is that you can't say anything on your products, about your products or on the packaging, unless you have test results to prove those claims. And these are extremely expensive. An example here is our even tone range, where we had to invest several R100,000 in testing with an independent lab to get these test claims. And that's a big barrier to entry for smaller brands that believe in their products and want to show that they are effective. Retailers, okay, we can't live with them and we can't live without them. Okay, they're the biggest headache, I think, for local brands. The barriers, again, are enormous, like listing fees, and then there's cooperative marketing spend. When you get those pull-out leaflets in the newspapers showing beauty fairs and advertising, all of those little spaces are paid for at huge cost to the brands, each of the brands, and they're not optional. You have to go into them. It's also compulsory to take part in promotions such as the dreaded 3 for 2 promotion. I'm always amused. Customers aren't really aware of the fact that when products go on 3 for 2, at the end of the day, the brands are presented with a bill by the retailers for all the free products they've been given away. So actually, the retailer looks like they're doing the consumer a favor by offering a free product, but actually they just claw back the cost of that product from the brand at the end of the promotion. So this is a huge challenge in managing profitability and making sure that in the end you're not selling your products for less than it cost you to make them. So they're always looking for more money. The latest thing is that they want to increase the margin they take to fund their home delivery services. So there's always something, and it's always a big negotiation, and they really are in the driving seat, because when you develop a new product and you research and manufacture it and come up with the packaging and have a great idea for a marketing campaign, it's still incredibly difficult and touch and go whether the retailer will choose to list that new product or not. So those are just some of the things that our management team, our trade marketing team have to deal with every day. Within the retail environment, there's also very little support for local brands in terms of cutting them any favors. And it would be really fantastic if Proudly South African and the Department of Trade and Industry could organize a forum with the big retailers that dominate the market and see if we can't get a better deal for made in South Africa brands, because they're so key to job creation. This is just a last slide, which shows some of what goes on inside our factory and some of the people that work so hard to develop and make and pack our products for us. We're very proud of our people. And during COVID, we were extremely happy that we laid off not one single person. And we organized staff transport, dedicated taxis so we could move our staff safely to the factory in hubs. And we set up a food program with a chef to make everyone meals in the factory, which I think helped get us through COVID. And I think perhaps one of our biggest success stories is Aisha Sussman, who is now the CEO of our manufacturing company, Scentpack. She started in our factory first, a part-time job when she was 16, working on the on the packing line. And today, 25 years later, she's the CEO of the company. And she really runs a really tight ship with all those employees on the manufacturing side. And she's a trained cosmetic chemist who is head of formulation and has traveled all over the world to look for machinery, to look at new approaches to efficiency in our factories. She's just absolutely, I think, represents all the best of African extracts and our journey that we've come on. So I don't know if this has been helpful, but I hope it gives a bit of an insight into what goes into a 25-year journey to success.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That was more than just helpful. And you left me a bit conflicted with the 3 for 2 specials because, I live on them. But because I want to continue contributing to your continued success, I'm gonna keep it in mind next time. I will definitely keep it in mind. And I'd like to say kudos to you and your team as well for making sure that in one of the hardest times in South Africa, not just in business, but in South Africa as a whole, you managed to retain all your staff and put measures in place to make sure that, people don't lose jobs and people continue their lives as normal. So congratulations on that. And we love hearing success stories. We love hearing stories of, someone walked into the building as an intern and now they are, running the ship. We love hearing those stories, and we are supporting you and hoping that you can continue the incredible work that you're doing. Sarah, for someone who perhaps does not know or might have missed it, and they're just curious, why rooibos? What are some of the unique benefits of rooibos on in skincare?
Well, I tell you what. Rob was looking for a brand, a skincare range that he could potentially export and that could not be copied by the Chinese. Okay. And we looked around, and the one thing that sprang to mind was rooibos, because rooibos is internationally protected as an ingredient, so nothing can be called rooibos unless it is grown in this patch of the Cederberg Mountains, okay? And that's the only rooibos that there is in the world. So it's really special to us. And if you look at it, there's been a lot of research into plants that are called adaptogenic plants, which are a bit like superfoods in a way. And what these plants do is that they adapt to an environment that's quite hostile. And in the Cederberg, it's very cold at night and it gets very hot in the day. And you have these long, thin, reed-like leaves that are so full of natural antioxidants, some of which are unique to rooibos, that these are the things that when their effect on the cells is essentially, we have particles called free radicals that our cells produce when they are, as we age, or as we fight off stress, or we have poor sleep or poor diet or whatever, our immune system. And antioxidants are like little Pac-Men that run around and neutralize these destructive little enzymes. And that's why antioxidants are good for us. So antioxidants obviously are found in lots of fruit and veggies, but in rooibos, like for instance, there's so much medical research around rooibos that if you drink 6 cups a day, actually the antioxidant effects, it cuts your risk of all kinds of cancers by some astonishing amount. And we just have always believed that what's good for your inside is good for your outside as well. And that's why we've built our brand around rooibos. Maybe that's
Interesting. Now I know exactly what's going on my skin. Thank you for that. And just to close off, a question to both Gillian and Sarah. What does driving sustainability and ethics, in the overall South African beauty industry mean to you and your business? Gillian, you can take that one first.
Thank you for that. I think, truly to localize, and I think the movement of buying local really brings sustainability, as I highlighted earlier, that small, micro, and medium-sized enterprises form the 90% of businesses globally. So, and most of those, the SMMEs are localized. They are not multinationals, you know. So when we buy and support local brands, it creates sustainability for our economy as well, keep the economy active and also boost the economy.
Thank you so much for that, Gillian. Sarah, what does driving sustainability and what does driving sustainability, you know, and ethics in South African beauty industry mean to you and your brand?
I think the overriding ethical consideration for all South Africans is to create employment. Because if we don't have more employment in this country, we're not headed down a good path for all of us as South Africans. And personally, I feel that the more we can grow our businesses and the more people we can employ and nurture and develop along their career paths, the better. But at the same time, we have to look at the planet as well, you know. It's very difficult to be sustainable, okay? For instance, a lot of our tubes are sourced from China because we can't get what we need in South Africa. We would love to. We're always looking for South African options. We made a decision to purchase a wipes machine for our facial wipes because most are imported. So just where we can to substitute local for imported, I think is like an ethical imperative, you know, for business, and it's good for sustainability.
Sarah, Sarah Hathington, thank you so much, Director of Brand Communications. Thank you so much for your time. Gillian of Gilia's Naturals, CEO and founder, thank you so much, and we wish you all the best with your businesses. Thank you to Proudly South African CMO Happy Ngidi, who also found time to speak to us earlier on, and thank you to every single person that joined this webinar this morning and contributed in any way possible. We are hoping that this conversation, you know, will go just beyond just this webinar and also into supporting these businesses and making sure that we continue to support local businesses. Thank you so much from myself, Gary Timutokwa. It is quite a pleasure. It was a pleasure. And see you next time. Thank you.